Hi, I want to thank everyone for tuning in and coming well beyond with me today. Well Beyond is your time, your show. To ask questions, recommend topics, and interact with our show guests, connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, and the Well on Wise website. As always, if you want to go to the website, you can also sign up for our newsletter. Today, we've had a little bit of technical difficulty. However, we will have a guest that is coming in on Skype, on phone. But before that happens, my name is Leanne, your host for another episode of Well Beyond on the Well and Wise Network. I'm going to start today with a scenario. You're on a plane and the oxygen mask descends from the roof. What do? I've flown enough times to actually have the flight attendant educational spiel somewhat memorized. I remember when I was younger being baffled at the part where we're encouraged to put our own oxygen mask on first prior to helping others. I recall being shocked thinking that my mom would never even consider such an option, and I was conflicted with the notion that I was not helping somebody before helping myself. It was selfish. Well, according to today's guest, being selfish is exactly what we need to do, especially when it comes to our fitness. It is an essential factor in cultivating ultimate health and being self-empowered. My guest today, Alicia Kirschenheiter, is a health and fitness expert, advisor, coach, author of the children's book Oscar and Otis, and weight and lifestyle management consultant. She's also the owner of Evolution Total Wellness, a New York haven supporting a fit body, nourishing diet, and inner peace for the spirit. Alicia, thanks for coming on to Well Beyond today.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, and I will tell everybody that all the technical difficulty is my fault. And if anybody could see me now, my devotion to participating, I am unfortunately traveling and couldn't be as live as I hoped. So I do apologize for any inconvenience.
No stress. So I have had a chance to talk with you and read your website, and you are one busy woman. So what's a normal day like for you?
Right now, a normal day includes being on an interview from the side of the road and traveling. A normal day, it can be anything from meeting with personal training clients one-on-one to doing fitness coaching, mostly by the phone, sometimes via Skype. I do a lot of article writing for some different publications, which I love. And, of course, there's always my time during the day, my regimen and what I do for myself. And we work in family time, and every now and then I do get to do something that's relaxing.
Oh, nice. So I do want to go back to this idea of being selfish when it comes to your health. So in your blog that I read, you wrote that we need to be selfish to allow selflessness. So in a fitness context, what are you speaking about?
In the world of wellness, one of the things that I found working with clients, both fitness coaching and personal training clients, and even doing presentations, one of the questions or one of the things that always come up is the first thing people will say to me is, well, I don't have any time to do any of that. And I started to think about it, and I started to listen, to what they were really saying. And essentially what happens is when you continually really sort of keep saying, well, I don't have time for that, essentially what you're saying is that's not perhaps what's important to me. And then you start to dig the surface a little bit deeper, and you sort of say, okay, so what is, what are you doing with all of your time? And people say, well, they're running around for their family or their friends or for their job or for whatever else that they may have going on in their life. And basically what I ended up doing was trying to help them come to the conclusion that if they didn't begin to take better care of themselves, which in some respects is an entirely selfish premise, is to take care of ourselves, that they really weren't going to be able to continue to do the things that they were doing, continue to put the demands on the body that they were doing, or continue to be as stressed out as they were. Because at some point, your body, your health, is going to react to you not taking care of it. And if you're really looking at, well, I really need to keep going for other people, I really need to keep going for other things, at some point, not really making time for yourself is going to negatively affect that. And you will have to make time, but it's not going to be in a proactive way. It's going to be in a reactive way where now you have to make time to be sick. And so the premise of being selfish when it comes to wellness is really providing you time during the day to take care of yourself, whether it be in a fitness regimen, whether it be making better choices with your food, whether it be activity, whether it be meditation, whatever it is that speaks to you during your fitness, your wellness. But it's learning to incorporate that and realizing that if you don't, the alternative is going to be you're really not going to be able to do the things you care about anyway.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good point. And there are probably a lot of people resisting the initial word of selfish, but I think it's really important to reemphasize that you're talking about taking the time to fill ourselves up so that we're more balanced spiritually, physically, emotionally, and mentally, so we're able to be a whole person and offer ourselves to others at full capacity.
Absolutely. I think what people forget is that when you do take time for yourself, how much better we actually feel. I mean, for instance, if you're running around and you're nonstop all day long, and now you've eaten something, you're kind of eating things on the go, and you're not really exercising, so you're not really reducing your stress. You just go, 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 go. And what kind of reaction, or I should say, what kind of interactions are you really having with the people or the things that are so important to you to begin with that you've kind of skipped taking care of yourself for? Because I can tell you that if I'm go, 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 go all the time, and I haven't had my time in the gym, or I haven't had that time to myself during the day, the interaction that I'm having with the things that are so important that I skip that for is really running at about 75% capacity. I'm generally tired. I'm cranky. You have maybe some of my attention, but you certainly don't have all of my attention, and it's not as positive as it could be. And when I started working with clients and they started to realize that, it almost began, it sort of opened this box that they sort of started to see that, by taking this time for myself, it really is positively impacting the other things in my life. I'm sleeping better, which means I have more energy, which means I'm pleasant, versus biting someone's head off all day. And so it really is this whole circle. And so if it means that you think, this time for yourself during the day is really something selfish, you have to understand that it's really propelling you to be selfless.
I'm sure there's many thinking right now, I'm busy. Where do I even start? So I'm asking you, you're the expert. Where do we start?
The best thing I tell people, and the premise that I've always had with evolution, I think that there's a lot of sort of stuff going on with fitness and wellness, and people always drop this 30 pounds in 5 days, and all of a sudden start this P90X program, and you've never actually worked out, or it's great because there's a lot of things, like I said, kind of going around in the media, and the thing that always works, the thing that has consistently worked, the thing that works with my clients, the things that keep people really going, is to start small. I know it's not as glamorous as the stuff that's on television. It's not as it's not as big of a bang. But start small, making small changes, increasing your activity throughout the day, whatever it is. Even if you have a desk job and getting up, walk around the building a couple of times a day. If you're normally getting up and walking somewhere around on the third floor, go down to the first floor, use the stairs. Just start to increase your activity level for, minimal amounts to the day, and you'll start to see positive impacts. When you start to see those positive impacts, you start to want more, and you look for other ways to find that. So you look for other ways, and maybe you pack healthier snacks before you leave work, and a lot of it is preparation. It's not, on the fly. But you always want to start small. You want to take baby steps, because in general what happens is when you make grandiose plans, I'm going to work out every day for an hour, and I've never worked out before in my life. Well, what's the likelihood that that plan is going to succeed? It's not very high.
Mm-hmm. That is true. So a lot of us have desk jobs, okay? And we're sitting at our computer, and obviously that causes our shoulders to round. Is there an exercise you can get me to do right now that everybody else could imply in their own life?
I'm a big proponent, and like I said, keep it simple. So for me, if you sit all day, stand.
Okay.
I think that's the simplest of answers. If you're used to sitting at your desk all day, I don't care if it's once an hour, once every other hour, find yourself standing for 10 minutes. And that's the simplest way to start, is really just being conscious of the increased activity that you need to do, whether you set a little desk alarm and say, okay, from 3:45 to 4 o'clock, I'm going to stand up and do my work. That just, in general, increase, and you're doing it a couple of days, makes a difference. All small things equal up to great results. And don't worry about somebody, going, oh, why is this person standing at their desk? Oh, they look silly, or they look, they look like they've lost their mind. They don't know what they're doing. Because I can guarantee you, when I've started this with other clients, what they've noticed is other people starting to do it. And then the standing at your desk for 10 minutes a day becomes, well, instead of calling somebody who's across the office, I can walk over and just ask them this question. Instead of sending an email to somebody who's on the second floor, I'm going to get up and walk downstairs and ask them what it is I was going to ask them via email. And you begin to find little ways to just increase your activity throughout the day.
So you're talking about ways just to be active, even something like parking further away from the grocery store, so daily active living.
Yeah, as much as it sounds silly, the truth of the matter is convenience is really one of our biggest threats.
Yes.
We're a society that we like everything faster, bigger, and better. You and I both know that you will search for the remote control for 20 minutes before you actually get up and change the channel on your television. And I will frustrate myself to no end to find that remote control. But, the simple premise is I could just get up and go change the channel. But that's a matter of convenience. And we're so used to having everything sort of done for us. We don't take the stairs because there's elevators or there's escalators. If you have the ability to take the stairs, use them. Mm-hmm. I've done presentations, and you'll actually like this story. It's a quick story. But I did a presentation not that long ago for an insurance company, and a woman was asking me all of these questions about health and fitness. And it was really, the presentation was, how can we find fitness in our day? So it's similar to this conversation. This woman was asking a lot of questions, and she said to me, you know what? I decided every time I'm going to go to the bathroom, I'm going to go to the bathroom down on the first floor. And I said, well, that's great. I said, take the stairs, go down to the bathroom on the first floor. I said, you know what, that's perfect. So the presentation ended, and I was leaving, and I was actually headed for the stairwell, and I noticed this particular same woman standing in front of the elevator. So I couldn't help myself. I walked over, and I said, didn't you not 15 minutes ago tell me that every time you had to go to the bathroom, you were going to take the stairway? And she looked at me, and she said, yeah, but now I'm going to the cafeteria.
Oh.
And I thought...
Wow.
I thought to myself,
kind of defeats the purpose.
Some people get it off the bat, and some people just they don't. And that's another big part of wellness, is you have to have the desire and you have to have the motivation. Because if you don't, and you start any program half-hearted, again, you're not really going to succeed. It's sort of going through the motions without really having a big goal in mind.
Mm-hmm. So in a society where we're talking about convenience, how does this affect our children? Because I do know that you wrote a children's book, Oscar and Otis. Why did you feel compelled to write that book?
I think, for me, I think kids have a brilliant honesty. And to me, you can really talk circles to adults. And sometimes, adults will really psych themselves out. Oh, I can't do it because I don't have the time, or I don't want to give something up for the money to hire a professional, or I don't have the support, or whatever it is. Kids have this brilliant honesty that, to me, I just really felt, well, if kids got it, why not let kids teach parents? Because so many kids, you'll have a conversation with them, and they'll know things like soda is bad for them. They'll know that McDonald's is bad for them, or something like that, and, yet they'll know that their parents are going to bring them there, or they are going to get them that. And so for me, it was really much more about, I wanted to do something fun. I wanted to do something that kids would really get and get a kick out of, and yet get some sort of life lessons out of as well. And in Oscar and Otis, it's really the story of two kids that I did as animal characters because first my other love is animals, and just made it funny. And one of the kids' parents are obese, and he overhears a conversation with their doctor, and kind of goes from there. He decides he's going to take matters into his own hands, and how is he going to make his father well? And like I said, when working with kids, and I have worked with kids, they really get it sometimes more than adults do.